Hello everyone, glad to have you back for the show on Wednesday, October 9th, 2020. We have Bitcoin around 60, 2300, Ethereum at 2430. And for Binance Coin, the top 10 is generally more or less balanced. Shiba Inu is looking positive, and we also have Aptos, which will wait until the top 30 or 40, where we have 4 for Phantom and where we close with Whitebit token, the Gravestay. Well, who is going to pump? We are still around this top 50. So for the closure of this last one, the liquidity map remains unusable between the two bounds. So I won't repeat myself from the last show, and when we look at the 4-hour chart, we see that in the short term, we have a polarity zone around 62, 63, but more importantly, we are at the end of a contraction phase. We have a very large bull flag triangle, and we are currently finishing the contraction. So today, we particularly have at H the FOMC, which is the minutes of the Federal Reserve meeting, and tomorrow, 2001, the CPI for inflation. So clearly a busy economic calendar that should cause quite a stir between today and tomorrow. And tomorrow, Thursday, it will be around H French time to get the results and see if disinflation continues. On the United States side, Jack Bogiastic highlights the end of contraction also on a monthly basis. A chart on Kraken showing the long tail that has been ongoing since 2016, the glass ceiling here with the previous all-time high, and the work over the past 7 months as we have seen, and as we have noted in our portfolios, particularly for the alcohol. So of course I hope the moment has come, like all of you Crypto Goku who highlighted the revelations from HBO last night. Many of you followed the series on TV, and it was Peter Todd, who was highlighted and then quickly denied it since he is still alive after all. And there you have it, it's a damp squib just as we all expected. But it also had the merit of highlighting the history, particularly regarding the cypherpunks and Bitcoin, of all this story. They tried to hype things up a bit. And so you have a very good summary here from Crypto Goku and others on Twitter, which shows that in the end it's a bit of the nothing burger that everyone was expecting. And for those who want to delve a bit deeper into the topic of who might be behind Satoshi Nakamoto, there is still Crypto Goku, who conducted a very long trade specifically addressing all the potential personalities. Caleb Franson highlighted the MicroStrategy to Bitcoin ratio, also noting the outperformance. It's completely crazy to look at Bitcoin throughout this year, and even since 2020, we see that during the times when Bitcoin has soared, it is actually the reference asset that outperforms even Bitcoin itself. So it's quite surprising, completely crazy. It currently represents the largest proxy with the most BTC held in relation to that famous company, MicroStrategy. And well, Ben, now that we have the ETFs in content in spot with BlackRock and everything going well, I don't see why we would rather buy MicroStrategy. But today, Ben, the market is favoring MicroStrategy. So here we are, and we will see what it will bring by the end of the next cycle. Bob Lucas highlighted a slight contraction, suggesting that a peak could be found somewhere between 150,000 and 200,000 by the fall of 2025, and a bear market that, if we rely on these little arrows, remains. Here is the forecast, in quotes, regarding the 4-year cycle. But we could have a future low point that will be between the end of 2020 and the beginning of 2021 for the next bear market. A volume profile that held on Robinhood, and it's now moving back up to $20. We had around August 5th the $14 mark, so it's pushing quite well on that platform. And we had the CEO of Crypto.com counterattacking following a complaint filed by SciCI against the Crypto.com platform. So it's a usual wishful thinking as always. I don't know exactly what that corresponds to in the United States. Is this a real complaint? Is it a warning? Because they didn't do everything exactly as it should have been from a regulatory standpoint. The funny thing is that we had seen it a few episodes back. The SEC usually attacks a lot of crypto companies in the last quarter of each year, so I don't know if they have a quota to fill, but in any case, it's quite funny to see that. Yes, lately we have seen quite a few people at the CCI attacking anything that can be related to platforms, protocols, or anything that ultimately pertains to crypto. Kyung Joe noted factually that Ethereum ETFs are currently somewhat of a name, so absolutely nothing is happening. And unlike those of Bitcoin, Bitcoin continues to be gradually absorbed to this day, and unfortunately largely due to Grayscale, which is distributing a significant amount and is still sitting on about $4 billion in valuation in Ethereum. Well, this has created a downward pressure that we have clearly seen in the price. And for now, there aren't many people wanting to buy Ethereum, except that the confidence, as highlighted by Into the Block, is still there for stakers and those securing it through proof of stake. Since the famous merge on the Ethereum network, where we transitioned from proof of work like Bitcoin to proof of stake, we are slowly but surely approaching staked lands. We currently have 28.9 precisely, and the key figure to remember is that it has been significantly increasing since January, when we were barely at 23.8, and there are 15.3 million ethers that for over 3 years, so there you go. It's taking its time. Today we have Ether, which compared to the ultimate low point is roughly at 3 times its value, since if we count between $800 and $900, well, we are at $2,400 today, so let's say about 2.5 times 6015. But it is an asset that is still somewhat restrained, which has not enjoyed good press on social media for a few quarters, so I'm really curious to see what will happen when Bitcoin crosses the current threshold of around $60,000, and whether we will see a stronger push for the crypto market. Feel free to let us know what content you would like to see live, and in terms of tutorials, whether it's about wallet platforms, DeFi protocols, or technical indicators on TradingView. We are currently creating a lot of content for the famous format we've been talking about for far too long, so it will be coming in the last 2 months of this year. However, feel free to let us know if we have forgotten anything or if you have any requests. In particular, China, with Greg Invest, is announcing measures against the import of European spirits. Apparently, there is a bit of a skirmish going on around all of this right now, so it had quite a decline, especially on Monday, as we saw with the CAC 40, so it's something to keep an eye on. For the moment, it's a bit, there you go again. We don't really know what direction this will take, but I think we'll know a bit more in the coming weeks, quite simply. And we will finish with Quentin Francois, who highlights the CME future net position with the commitment of traders. The famous quote, it's something I was constantly looking at between 2010 and 2020. For those who were already there in 2009 on CME, you heard a lot about the famous CME futures. And we are indeed seeing a significant reduction in short positions on the CME futures. Again, which could imply that for the coming weeks and months, there is a positive change in polarity expected from institutional and professional market participants. The technical analysis, I will try to be very quick, as it hasn't changed much since the last broadcast, since Monday, with 2.12 billion today for the total crypto, including absolutely everything. And we can see that when we had the rise in spring 2024, until March, we had volumes that were increasing, peaking precisely in the first week of March. And now, since we are in a correction, we have volumes that are declining, which is normal and quite logical. And we are going to have the next significant movement. Let's hope it goes upward. Of course, the total crypto market cap 2 of Vault is 804.20 billion, and the total crypto market cap 3, which excludes Ether and Bitcoin, is around 600 billion today. We can also see that we have quite a bit settled the dust on that side, Bitcoin in itself. No more, no less, big cup, small handle. Nevertheless, the MACD momentum has been declining for a good month on a monthly basis. So, are we not going to have to revisit the low points, perhaps see a new low, to really try to gather all the necessary oxygen before heading back towards the all-time high? Where are we ripe after 7 months in this bull flag to break out like this at the end of the year? It is now, it is imminent, around the former all-time high, and then 420s, 10,000, maybe $1,000, plus 2,430 for Ether, which is also in the process of forming a very nice consolidation. We'll see what it will yield. The 20-day moving average and the 50-day moving average have been defended significantly, and the polarity zone around $2,100 with the 0.608 Fibonacci level. And we can see that we are already crossing on the monthly momentum at the MACD level, since Ether has been quite disappointing all this time. So we'll see if Ether BTC will manage, after almost 6 months of consecutive decline, to finally reverse the polarity around, or if it will take another quarter until early 2025 to establish itself around, with Bitcoin possibly rising to 4,200,000, and indeed an Ether that still wouldn't regain strength against Bitcoin. And then before finding the true Bitcoin, top dominance around 50, 60, maybe 62, I have no idea. And when this indicator, the BTC dominance, which represents the strength, the dominance in the overall crypto market, reverses, then we can indeed talk about alt season. And we will conclude this technical analysis with a monthly view of Amundi's CW, as I was just looking at how the previous market shoots had gone. And what I find interesting is that most of the time we are right on track with what the charts indicate, which means it takes about a year to recover. Every time we really get hit hard on this index. So it's interesting to think that even if the wind doesn't turn in our favor, or if there were, well, I don't know, a recession that suddenly appears for the American market. Well, we see that most of the time on an index, a tracker, which today is heavily weighted, let us remember, by the United States. Here we have the COVID crash with 30 in 2020, in previous 20 in 2008 and 20 in 2009, and there we will also measure the fall of 2020 where we had a 10.8. So, overall, if we have a soft landing and nothing extraordinary happens on the side of the United States, it shouldn't go too badly for the future. And we can observe on this occasion, at least since we have the history here from 2009 following 2008, if I may say, that we indeed have a year each time that it really took a good hit on the world ultimately, which reflects all the biggest global actions. So that's something to keep in the back of your mind. Well, if things don't go well, or if the crypto market doesn't head in the direction we all want today, looking at V, the North, well, we might actually have a 1-year lag like that while the American market or the whole world finishes resolving its own problems. I wish you an excellent day, and as for me, I'll see you this weekend. Ciao. Ciao.